What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today we're going to go over all of the inputs, outputs, and controls on the RPM109 V2. Now let's go through the mixer and check out all of the available inputs, outputs, and controls. So when we take a look at the mixer, you'll see we have 12 channels that we can use. So first I'm going to show you guys how to set up a microphone with one of these channels. So I got my dynamic microphone right here, and you're also going to need an XLR cable. You're going to take the female end of your cable and plug that into your microphone. Then you'll take the other end and plug it into any of the channels. Remember, channels 1 and 10 have the XLR input, so you can use any of these channels. For today, I'm going to use channel 1. So next we're going to raise the level knob here on channel 1. And to hear everything coming out of the speakers, we're going to make sure to raise the main channel output knob over here. The mixer also has 48 volt phantom power button, so we can plug in condenser microphones as well. So you're going to follow the same exact steps to connect your microphone to the mixer, but you just want to press in this 48 volt button to power your condenser mic. So we also have 9 other channels that we can plug a microphone into by following the same exact steps. And remember, we also have a 1/4 inch line input to connect a guitar or a keyboard or any other instrument. So to demonstrate, I have my guitar here and my 1/4 inch cable. I'm going to plug one end into my guitar, then I can plug the other end into the line input of any available channel. So for today, I'm going to plug it into channel 2. So next I'm going to raise the level knob for channel 2. Then I'm going to raise the volume on my guitar. And now if I play, you should be able to hear the guitar coming out of the speakers. So what's really cool is that I have both of my guitar and my microphone plugged in at the same time, so I can sing into the mic, la 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 la, and play the guitar at the same time, which is really cool for band practices, live performances, etc. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is channels 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, which have stereo line inputs, so you can connect a stereo instrument like a keyboard or synth. So for that, I'm going to take 2 1/4 inch cables. I'm going to plug one end of both cables into the left and right outputs of my keyboard. Then I can plug the other ends into the left and right inputs on channels 7 and 8 or 9 and 10. You could also just use one cable to connect the keyboard into the mixer. So for that, you would just plug into the left mono output of your keyboard and plug the other end into the left mono input of either of these channels. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to connect a microphone or instrument to your RPM109 V2. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time. So with my mic plugged into channel 1, let's go over some more of the features. Starting at the top, we have a 3-band EQ with the high, mid, and low knob, and this is just going to affect the overall sound of each channel. So for example, the high knob will affect all of the high-end frequencies coming from your channel. So if you listen to my voice as I lower the high knob, check 1 2, check 1 2, you won't hear my voice as clearly right now because we brought down those high-end frequencies. Then on the opposite side of that, if we brought it up higher, check 1 2, check 1 2, you'll hear that the clarity increases. And then we can bring it back to the middle, check 1 2, for a nice balanced sound. Next, we have the mid knob, which will control the mid frequencies of our channel. So if I lower that, check 1 2, check 1 2, you won't hear as much presence or body in the voice. And if I raise it all the way up, check 1 2, check 1 2, you'll hear it more so, check 1 2, hello. And then we can bring it back to the middle, check 1 2, check 1 2. Then we have the low knob, which will control the bass or low frequencies for the channel. So if I bring that all the way down, check 1 2, check 1 2, you won't hear the bass out of my voice. If I brought it all the way up, check 1 2, check 1 2, oh yeah, you'll hear that bass all right. And we can bring it back into the middle, check 1 2, check 1 2. Next we have the monitor knob, which works with the monitor output towards the bottom of the mixer. So with the monitor output, you can set up a powered speaker or maybe even another amplifier or mixer, so you can have the audio coming into the RPM109 sent out through the monitor output to your other speakers, mixers, or amplifiers. And to control what's being sent out to the monitor output, you're going to use this monitor knob on any of the channels you want. So if I wanted to send this microphone through the monitor output, I'm going to raise the monitor knob here on channel 1. And then from there, you'll be able to hear my voice coming through anything you have plugged into the monitor output. Also keep in mind the controls that are going to affect the monitor output are the 3-band EQ and the pad button for each channel. You're also going to want to use the monitor level knob to control the level of everything coming out of the monitor output. Next, we have the DSP and effects knob. Now we can use this knob with the DSP effects built into the mixer, which we're actually going to circle back to later on in the video. And you can also use this knob with the effects send on the mixer. So if you wanted to use outside effects, you would just plug it into the effects send and then control which channels you want sent out to those outside effects using the effects knob. Remember, if you want to use the effects send, that you need a Y cable. So you're going to plug the single end into the effects send on the mixer. Then you're going to plug the other ends into the inputs and outputs of whatever outside effect you want to use. Also, the controls that can affect the effects send are the 3-band EQ and the pad button for each channel. Here's another setup you can use with the effects send. So you can take 1/4 inch cable and plug one end into the effects send, then plug the other end into the input of the outside effects. Then to route that back to the mixer, you can take another 1/4 inch cable and plug one end into the output of the outside effects, then plug the other end into the line input of whatever channel you want affected on your mixer. For example, if I wanted channel 1 to be affected by the outside effects, I'm going to plug that into the line input of channel 1. Next, we have the pan knob to control which side of the mix our channels run through. So for example, I can send my microphone here to the left side of the mix, check 1 2, check 1 2. Then you're going to hear my voice only coming out of the left speaker. And then on the opposite side, I can send it to the right speaker only, check 1 2, check 1 2. And then if we set it back to the middle, you hear my voice coming out of both speakers. Next, we have the level knob, which we already went over when we connected our microphone or instrument. And we can use this to control the output level of anything we have connected to our channels. Now, if you had something plugged into any of these channels that was a bit loud without raising the level knob too much, you can use the pad button to lower that signal 20 dB, which will give you plenty more headroom when setting up the level for that channel. You can tell if anything's coming in too loud by looking at the clip light here right above the pad button. So if this light is coming up, you can use the level knob to lower the volume for that channel, or you can use the pad button and go from there. We also have a mute button for channels 1 through 10 so that you won't hear anything coming out of those channels. You'll still be able to hear everything coming out of channels 11 through 12, which is kind of cool because you can play some music during an intermission or a set break and have everything else muted. And lastly, like we mentioned earlier, we have the 1/4 inch line input and the XLR mic input to connect any instrument or microphone. So channels 1 through 6 are completely identical in regards to what we just talked about. Then we have channels 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, which are similar, but there are a couple of differences. The first difference is that they don't have the clip indicator or the pad button to lower the signal. And these channels have 2 1/4 inch line inputs to connect any stereo instrument like a keyboard. And then we have channels 11 and 12, which are mostly used for music playback. We do have a few controls with these channels, so we have the 2-band EQ with the high and low knob to control the high and low frequencies. We also have a DSP and effects knob, so we can use the built-in effects or send that feed out through the effects send. Then we have the balance knob to send it either to the left side or right side of our mix. We also got the level knob to control the volume. Below we have the mode button to switch the source for channels 11 and 12. So with this button unpressed, we have it set to aux mode, where we can use the RCA inputs to connect our music source. And we can press the button in to set the channels to Bluetooth, SD, or USB mode. So like I mentioned, we have the RCA input, so we can connect any music device with an RCA cable. We can also send signal out from the mixer using the RCA outputs right next to it. And then we have the phantom power button, like I mentioned before, if you want to connect condenser microphones into the mixer. Now on the top of the mixer, we have the DSP, where we can use any of the 24 effects built into the mixer. So we're going to be using the program knob to cycle between the different effects, and when we land on one that we want to use, we're going to press on this knob to select the effect. Next we have the parameter knob, which kind of acts like a dry wet knob, where you can control how much of the effect is present. So the higher you raise this knob, the more the effect you'll hear, and the lower you have this, the less effect you'll hear. And then we have the DSP to main knob, where we can control how the effects come out through our speakers. Also remember, you want to raise the effects knob for whichever channels you want to have the effects. So for example, if I want the effects on my microphone on channel 1, I'm going to raise the effects knob for channel 1. Then I can use the parameter knob to control how much of the effect is present throughout. And then I'll raise the DSP to main so that it's coming through the speakers. I'm also going to go through all of the effects right now so we can hear what everything does. Remember, to cycle between the effects, you want to use the program knob here. And once it starts to flash, you want to press down on this knob so that it's set to the desired effect. So on number 1, we have the hall effect, which acts as a hall reverb. Hello, hello. Number 2 is hall 2, which is just a different type of hall reverb. Hello, hello. Next we have number 3, which is room 1. Hello, hello, hello. Number 4 is room 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Number 5, we have the plate reverb. Hello, check, check 1 2. For number 6, we have the large stage effect. Hello, hello. For number 7, we have the small stage. Hello, hello, hello. On number 8, we have reverb 1. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. We have reverb 2 on number 9. Hello, hello. Number 9, number 9. We have reverb 3 for number 10. Hello, hello, hello. Next, we have the signal delay for number 11. Whoa, 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 whoa. We have the long delay for number 12. Hello, hello, hello. Next, we have the vocal echo for number 13. Hello, hello, hello. Next, we have a karaoke echo. Hello, hello, hello. Next, we have a phaser for number 15, and you can actually hear it a little better if I hold out a note. Hello. Next, we have number 16, which is a flanger. Hello, hello, hello. Next, we have a chorus effect on number 17. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hello. Then we have number 18, which is chorus 2. Hello, hello, hello. Next we have number 19, which is an ambient reverb. Hello, hello. Next we have number 20, which is a tremolo, and again, it's a lot more present if you hold out a note. Hello, hello, hello. Next we have number 21, which is a wah-wah effect. Wah, 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 wah. Next we have the radio effect on number 22. Check 1 2, check 1 2. This one's crazy. Next we have the radio voice effect. Hello, hello. And lastly we have the pitch change effect, and you're gonna use the parameter knob to choose between the different pitches. So if we turn the parameter knob all the way down, it's going to pitch your voice lower. And then if we raise it all the way up, check 1 2, check 1 2, it brings you to a higher pitch, a higher pitch, a higher pitch. And remember, this is the low pitch. Don't forget. Next, we have a 7-band EQ for the left channel of speakers and the right channel of speakers. So if you felt like the right channel of speakers had too much high end, you can lower the high end frequencies for the right channel only. Or if you felt like the left channel had too much low end, you can adjust the low end for the left channel. Next, we have the music playback section at the bottom for your SD, USB, or Bluetooth device. So we got the pause or play button where you can pause or play your music. You got the stop button, which will stop the music altogether. You got the repeat button, which will repeat your tracks. You got the previous or next buttons after that. And then you have the mode button where you can switch between different sources plugged into the mixer. So now let me quickly explain how to connect your Bluetooth device. So first you're gonna click the mode button here until it reads Bluetooth. When it reads disconnected, it's looking for a device to connect to. So this is when you can take your smartphone or tablet and go into the Bluetooth settings, search for the device that reads Rockville and click on it to pair. You'll also want to go to channels 11 and 12 and make sure that it's set to Bluetooth mode so you hear the Bluetooth device coming from that channel and out of your speakers. Then you're gonna raise the level knob for channels 11 and 12 and make sure that the main channel output knob is raised so that you hear everything coming out of the speakers. So let's go ahead and hear how it sounds playing some music. Yeah, sounds awesome. Next to the music playback buttons, we have the different outputs available, like we mentioned before, like the monitor output and the FX send. And we also have 1/4" main left and right outputs in case you wanted to use those instead of the speak-on outputs on the back of the amp. Now on the top, we have the PC interface, which allows you to connect the amplifier to your laptop or computer. So for that, you're gonna need a USB-A to USB cable. You're gonna plug the USB-A end into the interface port here. Then you're gonna plug the other end into your laptop or computer. Because we're using a newer laptop for today, I'm gonna be using a dongle to convert the USB to a USB-C. Once you have the mixer plugged into your computer, you're gonna wanna go into the sound settings and switch the input and output device to mixer audio. So this is a cool setup because now you can record anything that's plugged into the mixer, into a DAW on your laptop or computer. So for today, I'm using GarageBand, but you're gonna follow the same exact steps on any other DAW you're using. We also recommend that you go into the sound settings of your DAW and make sure that the output device and the input device is set to mixer audio as well. Now to set up a track on your DAW, you're just gonna create a new track here. And when it prompts you to set up the input for your track, we recommend that you set it to input 1 and 2. We recommend that you do this because the mixer is sending out a stereo signal once it's connected to your laptop or computer. And once you have it set to input 1 and 2, you're getting a fair balance of everything recorded. From here, you can plug in any instrument or microphones to any of the available inputs. And once you're all set, you can hit record and it will record anything that's plugged into the mixer. So now you can see that everything I'm saying into the mic right now is getting picked up and recorded on my DAW here. And it's also really cool because you can still hear my voice coming out of the speakers. So this is really cool because if we had a band practice or rehearsal, we can record our rehearsal into the Mac and still be able to hear everything coming through the speakers. So we're able to hear all of the instruments, voices, etc. And what's also really cool is that you can use the built-in effects and use all the parameters on each of the channels on the mixer and have that recorded as well. So here's an example. I have the delay on right now, and it should also be recording onto your track. Also remember, you can adjust the level of any microphone or instrument plugged into the amplifier the same way by using the level knob. So for example, if I wanted my microphone to be louder through the mix, I'm just gonna raise the level knob, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, and then you'll hear that it's actually picking up more volume since we raised the level. And now if I lower it, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, the signal is quieter now. So this is just to show you that we can adjust the parameters the same way and have it be affected on our recording. Now, one thing I want to point out is that if you have speakers plugged into the mixer while you're recording, you may want to turn off the input monitoring so that you don't get a feedback loop. Now, instead of using input 1 and 2 together, you could set it up as a mono track by using input 1 or input 2 at a time. So for example, if you're using input 1 by itself, you're gonna be recording everything coming out of the left channel, which you can see here by looking at the DAW that's recording right now. And just to show that off, we have the channel panned in the middle, so it's picking up everything in the left channel. And if we pan it all the way to the left, it's still picking up that signal, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. But as soon as we turn it to the right, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, it's gonna be cutting off because it's not picking up anything from the left channel anymore. And if you use input 2, it's gonna be recording anything coming from the right channel. So as soon as you pan it to the left, it's gonna cut off the recording also. So hopefully this showed you guys all of the inputs, outputs, and controls for the RPM109 V2. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.